Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Imogen, my pronouns are they, them, and I am Imogen X Stitch both here and on Instagram. I want to start by saying happy Pride, everyone. I hope that everyone is having fun and being safe and staying healthy, but I also want to specifically say happy Pride to anyone who is not out or is not completely out, because your story and your choices are valid and you belong. As you can see, my Fruit of Plenty is back, all framed. She's all taut and happy, and I'm much happier with her, so she's not sagging in her frame in all her glory. I do have one other finished item behind me that I did not stitch, this little pincushion. So one of the, I feel like I need a segment for this, but I don't have a name for it yet, so like highlight of my life? I don't know, something like that. Since we last spoke, I got to take a week's vacation from work, and my stitchy friend Rob came out to visit me, and we had a fabulous time. I got to show him a lot of Oregon, and we got to stitch and make some choices, and love. So he brought me this little pincushion that he stitched, that has needles in it because I am using it. This is over 1 on, looks like 25 or 32 count. I don't know. This is fabric that Rob dyed himself because he's a genius at dyeing fabric. This coordinating fabric, like, it's so good. I believe this chart was from a Black Needle Society box. And yes, I am actually using it because when I sit in this chair to stitch, the arms are squishy and I will just stick my needle in the arm of the chair and then forget about it, which is not great. So now I just keep this up there, but set it on the chair arm when I'm actually stitching here, and it's wonderful. No! Okay, that was far too difficult. Okay, the other thing Rob brought me was fabric that he dyed. Oh my god. I had trouble getting this to read properly, so I'm just gonna hold it up folded, but this is a wonderful, wonderful dark linen that he dyes for me because I'm obsessed with black fabric and it's really hard to find hand-dyed dark blackish fabrics. Another dark one, this one is Ada though, which will be an adventure for me because I have not stitched on Ada in a long time. We'll see. And then this one, which I love. It's this one, it's like a dark purpley gray, brown. I don't know, but I freaking love it. So Rob does have a few videos up on Flosstube. He hasn't filmed in quite some time. And he is on Instagram, the same handle. So he is Zav Stitches, ZAV_Stitches. Go follow him to support him and find out what he's up to, but don't like harass him about making more videos because we need to encourage each other and inspire each other here, not pester and guilt people into things. So thank you, Rob. I love it all. I love it all so much. I love you so much. Thank you. Next, I have a finish that I actually stitched. Yay! I did not get my life in order before filming this. All right, so Elegant Lace by Works by ABC. This is the model stitched in white thread. So we've talked about this before. She uses DMC Floche thread and regular DMC to get this effect, and I did that as charted. She does say on the chart, which I should have pointed out earlier, that you could get a similar effect by using just 2 strands of DMC for the full crosses instead of the Floche. So that's an option. So mine is stitched in black thread, again using the Floche and regular DMC, and this is on a 36 count linen by Fabrics by Stephanie in the colorway Simply Sage. And here it is. All finished. I can't do this. did I actually? I think I have a picture. Here it is. Um, I don't even know what to say about it. I love it. I love it so much. Um, I think I don't remember where I was last time, but I know the whole middle was empty and maybe one of the corners. Yeah, so that's finished. Obviously, I don't need the chart anymore. I did actually end up buying this twice. So I have the PDF and I stitched it using Pattern Keeper, which was my preferred method. Um, but I had already bought the paper version when it came out at, I believe it was Nashville Market, because it was just, I could not resist. So I do have a paper copy that I'd like to give away. So if you would like to stitch Elegant Lace by Works by ABC, say Rose. I didn't actually even realize that these were little roses until I was in the middle of stitching it, and then roses came up in my life in other contexts. Roses have medicinal healing properties. They are really symbolic in a lot of shamanic cultures. They're associated with the goddess Isis. Roses are pretty cool. And yeah, so say rose, and I will use YouTube's random comment picker to pick a winner. Um, all the normal stuff, be 18 or older. It'd be nice if you're a subscriber. Don't say words that will attract bot behavior, so don't say giveaway, etc. Okay. Oh, I do also have a new hank of Floche that I can show you how that comes. So I know some of you have your like fancy poster boards. I have is a Scrabble board, but like whatever. So DMC Floche comes in, and I can even fold it in half when I need to. DMC Floche comes in a big hank like this, and it's all one thing. So you do have to, cut it and braid it or however you manage your hanks, just like silk. Stitching mine on 36 count. I did have some left. It's quite a bit. I have quite a bit left. So you definitely only need one hank if you're stitching on 36 count for that project. So I will get this framed, I think, or maybe frame it myself. It is just square. I might be able to find a frame that works, but I'm not in any hurry to do that. So don't expect to see an FFO anytime soon because my FFOs are done by other people. So after I finished that, I wanted another piece that felt similar. So maybe like another geometric type pattern to replace it in my rotation. I don't really have a like formal rotation, but I wanted something to take its place. And so I started ink circles, circular logic. I've had a bit of a false start here, but I'll show you what I've done. So in this red thread that's like the outside rings, I wanted to make that black. I know you're all shocked by that. I wanted to make that black with like a pop of really variegated, exciting color for the middle parts. And so I grabbed this Gloriana silk. This is Seaweed. And I thought it was going to work on this fabric that I had, which is a 38 count legacy linen. I believe this is Vermeer blue. So that looks really pretty. I think that the problem is that the black thread I'm using, hold please. The black thread that I'm using is the Gentle Art Black Licorice, which is my favorite black because it is like the blackest black of any black thread. And I've been experimenting. That's part of what I've been doing with my Owl Forest Alice in Wonderland. I'm using all of the overdyed black threads. Like you might think that your silk or whatever is the blackest black, but put it next to black licorice and you will learn. So when I put these together, I thought they were gonna look really good, but I mean, they look fine. Like, okay, this is what I have. It looks fine, but especially when you come back, the variegated thread is just not having the impact that I was hoping It's just not having the effect that I was looking for. So I've paused that, having a little think. I might know. I don't know. Every time I think I have a plan, I change my mind. So I am looking for a new geometric pattern. I don't know. I don't know if I will maybe keep. I don't know if I will maybe keep this fabric and this thread and do a different pattern, or if I will take the black, choose a different variegated thread and a different fabric, or what I'm going to do. Maybe a different pattern altogether, but there's a whole thing about the way that I'm stitching this that I don't. I'll get into it when I start a project that I will actually continue doing that on, because it's a bit of a story, and I don't honestly like. We have It's been 3 weeks since I filmed, and that is too long. Too much has happened, and it was overwhelming to even start filming this video. I'm already like not happy with how it's going, but it just needs to get done. So I appreciate your patience with me as I figure out the filming cadence that works for me. So that was a bit of a new false start. My next new start was not false. We're going forward with this. I didn't intend for that to be a pun, but this is Modern Folk Embroideries Move Forward in Love PrideSAL, inspired by me. Um, so this is what it looks like. This is as designed. I am stitching mine on a black fabric. So I started with the center medallion, which is not my normal. See, this is what I mean. It's been too long since I filmed because um, I just made up all these reasons about why I would have started with the middle medallion, and none of them were even close to what the reality had been. So I started with the words because move forward in love is what Madame Adam always says with the tarot card, the lovers. He says it's a choice, move forward in love or back in fear. Um, that you just can't stand still, but that card is about choosing which direction. And so And I stitched the words first because I started this on a Monday, and on Monday nights, Madam Adam does a live. He calls it Monday Night Gathering, where he reads tarot scopes, which are like horoscopes for your zodiac signs, and it's a good community fun time. And so I managed to stitch the words during one of his lives, which they're his words, so that seemed fitting, right? Okay, so enough. Let me show it to you. This is stitched over one on 25 count black lugana. Um, Holding it back here because the color blows out, but so I stitched the words in a 12 weight Aurifil floss, um, partly because I wanted to make sure the coverage was good with white floss on black fabric, and I thought it might have a slightly different texture than the surrounding threads. I don't really notice a different texture in looking at it now, but I am pleased with the coverage. So I did change the yellow. I made it a little bit darker. I will be changing the green to make it a little bit brighter, actually. And this light blue is slightly different as well. I think just because of my fabric. Oh, and then I did stitch the black in the Progress Pride flag. I stitched the black using a black étoile, because I don't know, I guess I'm like Deadpool with maximum effort. So stitching with black étoile thread on black fabric over one on 25 count. This is These are my choices. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this, and I was worried about the color blocking. I don't stitch a lot of things that have that much color blocking. Is there another word for that? I don't know. But I've just been working on those parts when I'm with friends on Zoom, stitchy friends on Zoom, or during Madam Adam's Monday night gatherings, and that seems to be working out pretty well. This pattern is deceptively large, though. I don't have my tablet near me, but I'm not very far on this, maybe like 16%, and that has been a lot of stitching to be 16% of the way done, but that's okay. I am enjoying it. So my stitchy bug has been sort of meh this entire year, kind of, since January, maybe December. I had a lot of really big finishes, like the Fruit of Plenty. Um, and I think that's part of it because I dislike starts. I had a whole lot of finishes, but also I'm used to having a full coverage on the go, a Heaven and Earth design. And usually that's sort of part of my morning routine. I get up early and I have coffee and stitchy time. And it's specifically a Heaven and Earth design because the process of stitching it is different than the other things. It's more just mechanical. And I haven't had one since November, last November. I've had one kitted up and ready to go since January, December, but I couldn't start it. But now I've started it, and my stitchy bug is all of a sudden re-energized, and I'm feeling more like um, designing things and changing things, and it's really good. It's really good. So I'm excited that I've started this. So let's just frickin' show it, Imogen, my God. So this is Heaven and Earth Designs Wheel of the Year. The original artwork is by Bridget Ashwood. Um, I love the Celtic knot in the middle. I love the symbols for each of the holidays in the wheel with the spokes that are Celtic crosses. I love this chart. The rainbow, it's perfect. Except it's a full-size chart, and I did not want to stitch that background. So there is a background removed version of this on Heaven and Earth Designs website. It looks okay now. When I bought this, their website has like a mock-up of what it will look like. The mock-up for the background removed version had also removed part of one of the words. I think it was Beltane. It was missing letters. And so I didn't exactly trust that. Um, and I thought it's not a big deal. I can just remove the background myself. So I bought the full chart and I am manually removing the background. And Pattern Keeper has helped with that. We can talk about that in more detail if anybody is interested. So I'm removing the background. I'm also stitching it on a gray fabric instead of this sort of sand color, which might complicate the background removal. I'm not positive yet. It's been fine so far. So I'm also not taking this out of the Q-snap because of the way that I park. So I might have to film updates on this sort of separately and splice them into my normal Flosstube videos when I move the Q-snap, I mean, because I'm not taking it out for you. So this is where I am right now. It is, so I have these threads that are parked and sort of tucked into my grime guard and others that are still on needles stabbed into the grime guard, which is why I'm not taking it out of the Q-snap for a Flosstube video. So I am actually farther along here. I've done the arch of the circle about to the other spoke. I haven't started the other spoke though. So this is where I am. And I'm sort of erring on the side of stitching. So on the borders where I'm manually stitching, manually removing the background, I am erring on the side of stitching less so that if it looks funny, I can go back in and add stitches if I need to. So like in looking at the open spaces in this knot, there are a couple of symbols that I think I do want to add just to smooth it out a little bit, but super happy with how that looks. And it's going so fast because in Pattern Keeper I've marked out a lot of the background that I don't intend to stitch, and so according to Pattern Keeper I'm like 62% of the way through this baby, so we'll finish that in a second. So really excited to have that back in my routine. I think that's really helping me with stitching. So I know that in my last video I said that I hoped I was going to have more stitching to show you, and I do. So goal met. I don't do a lot of plans or goals or whip go or any of that structure, but I stitched more. So victory. Why did my headphones just die? That was so weird. Okay. This is a 25 count Lugana. This is one of the printed Zweigarts. So this is, I believe it's vintage Stormy Night. And so I'm hoping that it gives, since I'm not doing this sort of sand color, I'm hoping that this will look like maybe marble or stone. So that's my thought there. The next thing I worked on was I have asked you Thrice now by Sassy Stitch on Etsy. This is a Schitt's Creek reference, so that is the wonderful Dan Levy's face, and I have finished his hairline, which is very exciting. You can get rid of that. Ooh, so there he is. This is stitched on a 32 count Azure Blue Lugana, just by Zweigart. I can't decide. I felt for a while like this fabric seemed like it was taller than it was wide, like he was looking a little bit elongated. But it measures even, so I'm not really sure, but I realized that last time I said I didn't really have anything to say about this, and I realized that I should have said I am stitching this using Aurifil thread. So this is using the 12 weight Aurifil that obviously in black, which I have on this big spool. I love this. I love this thread so much. As soon as I found this thread, I started stitching all of the silhouette things, and I think that I always want to have a silhouette cross stitch going because I love working with this thread so much. So it's 12 weight on 32 count. I only need one thread, and I mean I think that coverage is fabulous on this 32 count. I feel like I stitch faster, even faster than I do when I'm stitching with one strand of other floss. I'm not sure why. It doesn't seem to twist or anything. So I find it very, very satisfying. I love it a lot. So I realized maybe I should show you the first one that I stitched using this thread. Partly because I stitched this as a gift, so it was a baby gift. The baby was born this fall, maybe like November, and I finished the gift before the baby was born, but I still haven't given it to the recipient. So the kid's like almost a toddler now, and they still don't have their baby gift, but I'm giving it to her this weekend, I believe. I hope. So let me show you. So this is Sweet Little Nightmare by the Witchy Stitcher. And so it did have text on the bottom that says Sweet Little Nightmare. I just left that off so it would fit on this frame. So this is on, it was a 32 count fabric. It did shrink, so it measured about 34 count fabric by Live and Die LA. I don't remember the colorway. But that coverage of that black, like you don't see any fabric through that. It's just, yes. This pattern is adorable. This frame is just thrifted. It's a metal, it's a Goodwill, $1.99 for this frame. The way that it had these stars that were cut out, I knew that I was gonna leave this bat symbol as negative space, which it's charted with maybe white thread, I don't remember, but I thought that coordinated well with these scalloped edges and the scallops on the pram. And then this is such a janky finish. So it says that Happiness is Homemade. It's a metal frame. So I just jankily glued my finished stitching to a piece of mat board, stuck a magnet on it, and stick the magnet to the frame. Voila. So, baby gift, like 9, 10 months late, but thus began my love affair with Aurifil 12 weight black thread. The other reason that I need to stitch everything in silhouettes is that I have this much thread. So I had ordered a normal size spool on Etsy. I will put the name. I believe it was Twisted Threads. It's an Etsy shop that I believe is out of Portland. And I also live in Portland, so I got it super fast. But they accidentally sent me the larger size spool of both this and a dark gray. And when I contacted them to say that I got too much, they said, "Oh, that's okay, just keep it." So I just now started to see the red in the spool, like I've actually used thread. So yeah. And I expect this one to be finished next time, unless I miraculously film in like a week or something, but this will be finished soon. And then I worked on It's Just a Phase by The Primitive Hair. This is on a 36 count fabric by Seraphim. Flagstone, in the colorway Flagstone. And I have ironed nothing. I was going to say forgive me, but I'm not apologizing. So I got the outline of the cat done, which made me feel a lot better. Now I know the boundaries of just how big this cat is, instead of just feeling like it was an endless cat butt that I was stitching. I did the outline of this cat while on a sort of impromptu marathon Zoom session catching up with some of my best stitchy friends. So that was really good energy to put into this piece. Makes me happy. So you may recall that I wanted to stitch the moons across the top in conjunction with the actual moon phases. I am doing that. So the full moon that's coming up, I will get back to stitching the moon phases themselves and then keep on with the rest of this piece. I really love it. I really love it on this purple fabric. I am using this black thread is Gentle Arts Witching Hour, and then the white is Toasted Marshmallow. I believe that's a Classic Colorworks. I did do the planchette in Etoile, and I'm going to do the words Moonchild in Etoile as well. So that's that. I have one more finish, but I want to pull your tarot card first. Also shout out, if you are into the tarot pulls, my new friend, who I love very much, Helen, is the Diddy Stitcher, both here and on Instagram, the Diddy Stitcher. She is just so sweet. She's so cute. She's British. She's British. I have been binging her episodes from the beginning. She used to film with her mom, who was a knitter. She used to film with her mom, Rosie, who's a knitter. And their interactions were just, it's so sweet. It's so, um, it's the kind of Flosstube that I love. Anyway, just gush about Helen for no reason. No, it was related. So Helen is also into tarot and the woo-woo things. So she has also started pulling a tarot card in her videos. She does hers at the beginning to give sort of a theme, and then stands it up in the background. So love her. I love Helen. Go check her out. She should have way more subscribers than she has. Way more. Well, it just took me forever to find my cards. So here we go. I also always have to edit the sound of the shuffling to be quieter, so that's why I don't speak as I shuffle, because I have to edit. Okay, so the advice for you is a Four of Cups in reverse. So Four of Cups, when it's right side up, means that you're forgetting about your own cup. So you're sitting here focused on the things that you're maybe not super happy about, while the universe is like, here's this thing over here. You just need to like look up. It could also mean to remember to take care of yourself. So um, the there's a the deck that I want, the deck that is on my list is the Midnight City Tarot. That deck shows a person like walking away from a coffee stand with their three cups, like for their friends, and the barista standing there like, well, you forgot this one. And the idea behind that is that you got coffee for everyone else and you forgot about yourself. You forgot your own coffee at the coffee stand. So that's what it is right side up. But for you, I pulled it in reverse, which means that you are remembering to go back to your own cup. You are remembering to prioritize your self-care, which is great. So good for you. Good for us. Whether that's stitching or hydrating or whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself right now, like the world is a dumpster fire. So we're all in survival mode, I think. Okay. So my next piece is a start and a finish, that was sort of a mental health thing, which is why I wanted to pull a tarot card before I talked about it. I might edit it to be reversed for you, but we'll see. There are a lot of spaces within our community still where the assumption is that it is for a specific demographic. And I think you all know what I mean. So the expectation is that stitchers are cisgendered, straight, white women of a certain age group. And when you don't fit into one or more of those categories, you can be, either dismissed or just, I don't know, basically you can have anything from like a slightly awkward interaction to just full on like rude or hateful behavior. And um, while most of these interactions might be small things that in and of themselves aren't a big deal, they do build on each other, and it can become very heavy. So I had a day where a lot of these experiences had built on each other like that, and I didn't even notice that it was happening until I felt really, really awful. It wasn't immediately obvious to me why I felt so terrible. As I was driving, I was reflecting on why do I feel so terrible, and I realized that it was, not one thing, but a lot of things combined. Um, and the things combined had all just made me feel very small. They'd sort of compressed. I felt very small. Um, and the thing that popped into my head was Michelle Bendy's Patreon exclusive chart from April, which said take up space. Um, and so I stitched that, and it was it's too small. That's my only beef with this pattern, Michelle. I need a full chart for take up space. Because I stitched this and I was processing emotionally and mentally the entire time, and it was very helpful. Um, so I did convert all my colors. So this is Take Up Space by Michelle Bendy Stitchy, um, in totally different colors. Which, okay, we are missing a major opportunity with the way that we talk about our floss conversions, I think, because we always talk about the called for floss. When people do full conversions, they'll say things like, I used none of the called for colors, etc. But why don't we call our conversions, why don't we call them uncalled for? Like, that was uncalled for. Like, my flosses are uncalled for on this pattern. So, here. Totally uncalled for floss. So this like hot fuchsia color, which is so outside of my comfort zone, by the way, but I could not stop thinking about this color for some reason. So that's a Dinky Dyes. What's it called? It's a city in Australia. Minjanoo? Minjanoo. That is the color. Um, and then on the black on the outside is that 12 weight Aurifil that I'm partial to. I did also use another color of black in the petals. That would be black licorice, my other favorite black. And then the rest is DMC. Um, yeah. I guess that's kind of all I want to say about it. I guess I just wanted, I think that it's easy to forget that those small interactions happen at all. I think if you don't personally experience them, I think it's easy to forget that they're a thing, or to think that they're not a thing, or to think they don't matter. Um, and while we do see some, blatant, sort of horrifying behavior in our community that we all react to, I think we don't see a lot of visibility into the small, like microaggressions that do build up. So I needed this reminder to take up space, that I'm allowed to take up space, that I'm allowed to have my pronouns, that I'm allowed um, to take up just as much space as anyone else. And I think that especially during Pride, that's important. So I think that's all. Thank you for being here. Happy Pride. I will see you next time. Bye.